Menglong's case fuels online debate over Alex Su's career slowdown and Jackson Wang's interpreted signals. The prolonged absence of Chinese actor menglong from public view has continued to draw attention across entertainment media and social platforms, prompting wider discussion that now extends beyond his individual situation. As fans and commentators search for explanations, some online narratives have linked menglong's silence to what they describe as Alex Su's career slowdown and Jackson Wang's increasingly cautious public messaging. While no official confirmation connects these developments, the conversation highlights growing concern over transparency and power dynamics within the entertainment industry. Menglong's disappearance remains unexplained. Menglong has not made any public appearances, announcements, or professional updates for an extended period. Event schedules that previously listed his participation were quietly altered, brand-related content featuring him ceased to update, and media references became scarce. Notably, no official statement has been released by his agency or affiliated studios clarifying his status. Industry observers note that temporary breaks are common, but they are usually accompanied by formal explanations citing rest periods, health matters, or project transitions. The absence of such communication has intensified curiosity and concern among fans, many of whom have taken to social media to document the timeline of his disappearance. As the silence continued, online discussions began shifting from concern to analysis, with fans questioning whether menglong's situation reflected a broader pattern within the industry rather than an isolated case. Public attention turns to Alex Su's career trajectory. As discussions expanded, some netizens began referencing the recent professional activity of veteran actor, singer, and producer Alex Su. Once a highly visible figure in major productions and industry leadership roles, Su's public presence has appeared more limited in recent years, marked by fewer high-profile releases and reduced media exposure. Importantly, there has been no public scandal, controversy, or official explanation associated with this shift. Entertainment analysts emphasize that changes in output can result from personal choice, market demand, or strategic repositioning. However, online commentators have questioned whether Su's reduced visibility could reflect evolving industry priorities or internal decision-making processes. The term career collapse, frequently used in online discourse, has not been supported by confirmed data. Instead, professionals describe the situation as a career slowdown or transition, cautioning against interpreting reduced exposure as evidence of professional failure. Speculation intensifies due to timing. What has drawn particular attention is the timing of these discussions. Menglong's disappearance occurred during a period when multiple high-profile figures were perceived as adopting more reserved public strategies. This overlap has encouraged some fans to look for connections, even in the absence of confirmed links. Media scholars point out that audiences often attempt to find coherence during periods of uncertainty. When official information is scarce, unrelated developments may be grouped together to form a larger narrative. This phenomenon is especially common in highly managed industries where transparency is limited. Jackson Wang's public statements draw interpretation. The debate widened further following a series of public remarks by Jackson Wang, an internationally active artist known for balancing work across multiple markets. In recent interviews and social media content, Jackson emphasized themes such as personal boundaries, long-term sustainability, mental well-being, and creative control. Although his comments were general and did not reference any specific individuals or situations, fans quickly began analyzing their tone and timing. Some interpreted the remarks as unusually guarded, while others viewed them as a natural evolution of an artist navigating global pressures. Entertainment journalists stress that Jackson Wang has consistently spoken about self-care and independence throughout his career, making it difficult to determine whether recent statements represent a shift or simply a continuation of existing values. Industry experts urge caution. Industry professionals have urged caution against drawing conclusions from circumstantial observations. Without official confirmation, linking menglong's absence to Alex Su's career activity or Jackson Wang's statements remains speculative. Experts emphasize that the entertainment industry is influenced by numerous factors, including changing audience tastes, financial strategies, regulatory environments, and personal career choices. Apparent patterns may reflect coincidence rather than coordinated action. At the same time, analysts acknowledge that prolonged silence from agencies can unintentionally amplify speculation. Clear communication, even when limited, often reduces misinformation and prevents unrelated narratives from merging. The role of silence in entertainment management. Silence has long been recognized as a management strategy within entertainment industries worldwide. Rather than issuing direct explanations, agencies sometimes allow situations to cool naturally, particularly when addressing sensitive or complex matters. While this approach may protect stakeholders in the short term, it can also lead to prolonged uncertainty. Fans, lacking official guidance, often rely on archived content, screenshots, and timelines to construct their own interpretations. Menglong's case illustrates how silence can become a focal point, transforming absence into a topic of sustained discussion rather than resolution. Fans drive the narrative. Online fan communities have played a significant role in keeping Menglong's name visible. Through coordinated posts, countdowns, and archival sharing of past work, fans have resisted what they perceive as gradual erasure. These activities have drawn renewed attention not only to menglong, but also to broader industry practices. Analysts note that fandom-driven narratives can influence media coverage, even when based on interpretation rather than verified information. However, experts also warn that emotionally driven narratives may unintentionally place pressure on other artists, such as Alex Su and Jackson Wang, who may be unrelated to the original issue. No official links have been confirmed. To date, no official source has confirmed any connection between Menglong's situation, Alex Su's career trajectory, or Jackson Wang's public remarks. Agencies representing the artists have not issued statements addressing the online discussions. Entertainment reporters continue to monitor developments, but emphasize that responsible reporting requires verified information rather than inference. Menglong's continued absence has become a catalyst for wider conversation about visibility, communication, and power within the entertainment industry. As fans search for clarity, some have linked his situation to Alex Su's reduced activity and Jackson Wang's carefully worded public statements. While these narratives reflect public concern and curiosity, they remain speculative. Until official information is released, the situation underscores the impact of silence in shaping public perception and highlights the importance of transparency in managing both artists and audience trust. Menglong's case and the silence that refuses to end. As Menglong's absence continues without clarification, attention has increasingly shifted toward the mechanics of how such silence unfolds inside the entertainment industry. What initially appeared to be a temporary pause has developed into a prolonged disappearance, marked not by controversy, but by an unusual lack of communication. Industry observers note that the first weeks of silence often pass unnoticed. Artists rotate in and out of public visibility regularly, and brief gaps rarely raise alarm. In Menglong's case, however, the absence stretched beyond expected norms. Public schedules remained unchanged for weeks, then were quietly edited. Mentions became sporadic. Eventually, they stopped altogether. This gradual withdrawal, rather than a single decisive moment, is what has unsettled fans and analysts alike. The quiet removal from public spaces. One of the most discussed aspects of Menglong's situation has been the way his presence appeared to be reduced without announcement. Fans tracking industry calendars noticed that events once associated with him were updated without explanation. Promotional materials were adjusted. Media outlets that had previously featured him regularly stopped referencing his name. There were no corrections issued and no confirmations offered. The changes simply happened. Media experts point out that such quiet revisions are not uncommon, but they are usually accompanied by at least minimal clarification. In this case, the absence of any explanation has become the central issue. Why silence draws more attention than scandal? In many cases, public controversy follows a predictable cycle: accusation, response, resolution. Menglong's case follows none of these stages. There has been no confirmed wrongdoing, no public dispute, and no official statement acknowledging a problem. Instead, the lack of information has created a vacuum. Analysts note that silence often generates more speculation than direct controversy. When audiences are denied basic context, they attempt to interpret patterns, timing, and indirect signals. This dynamic has been evident in the way Yu Menglong's fans have documented timelines and cross-referenced public records. The story has persisted not because of new developments, but because nothing has been explained. Fan-led documentation and online visibility. Fan communities have played a significant role in keeping Yu Menglong's name visible. Through archived interviews, past performances, and coordinated social media activity, fans have ensured that his work continues to circulate despite the lack of new content. These efforts have not only preserved interest, but also reframed the narrative. Rather than fading naturally, Yu Menglong's absence has become a subject of ongoing analysis. Entertainment journalists observe that this level of fan engagement changes how silence is perceived. Instead of allowing attention to drift away, the absence itself becomes newsworthy. Industry norms and the cost of uncertainty. Within the entertainment industry, uncertainty can be more damaging than negative publicity. Brands, producers, and collaborators typically prefer clarity, even when circumstances are unfavorable. When information is unavailable, risk assessments become difficult. This may help explain why prolonged silence often coincides with reduced visibility. Without confirmation of status, organizations may hesitate to proceed, resulting in fewer public-facing activities. Experts stress that this does not indicate wrongdoing. It reflects how risk management operates in highly competitive environments. The psychological impact on public perception. Public perception is shaped not only by events, but by how they are communicated. In Yu Menglong's case, the lack of communication has allowed interpretations to multiply. Each unanswered question reinforces the idea that something significant must be happening, even when no evidence supports that conclusion. Media researchers refer to this as interpretive escalation, where audiences increasingly read meaning into absence. Over time, the original question, "Where is he?" expands into broader assumptions about industry behavior. Why official statements matter. Analysts consistently note that even brief official statements can significantly reduce speculation. Acknowledging a hiatus, project transition, or personal break provides audiences with a framework for understanding absence. In Yu Menglong's case, the lack of such a framework has left fans and observers operating without reference points. This has allowed the situation to evolve into a prolonged topic of discussion rather than a resolved update. What remains unconfirmed. It is important to emphasize that no official source has confirmed any allegations, disputes, or disciplinary actions involving Yu Menglong. There is no verified evidence explaining his absence, nor has any wrongdoing been reported. The continued attention surrounding his case reflects concern and curiosity rather than confirmed information. An unresolved situation. As time passes, Yu Menglong's case continues to illustrate how silence functions within the entertainment industry. Without transparency, absence becomes amplified, speculation intensifies, and unrelated narratives begin to intersect. Until an official update is released, Yu Menglong's status remains unclear. What is certain is that prolonged silence has transformed a lack of information into an enduring story, sustained not by events, but by unanswered questions. For now, the case remains unresolved, and public interest shows no sign of fading.